So we've got these, I think, these 4 pillars that are emerging from the research. This know-how, procedural knowledge, the ability to put it all into action when the teacher lets go of your hand, and then that disposition to learn, that view of yourself as a learner, as the 4th pillar. And I think it's interesting when you look at that reflected in things like NAPLAN data. You know, if we look at some of the states and territories and the NAPLAN responses, so we just look at the frequency of responses from low to high performance in NAPLAN. When we put the South Australian data on top of that, what we see is that the whole curve is shifted down a bit. And so, you know, our students at the bottom end are performing a little bit lower, and our students at the top end are performing lower as well. And when you dig into that, some of the things that we see is that there's a kind of barrier. There's a barrier that's holding this group of kids back in South Australia. There's this barrier that some kids are kind of pressed up against, with their faces up against the barrier, you know. And what's happened is they're having all this instruction, and they're good at answering those questions where the question says, here's the thing, what's the answer? Oh yeah, this is the answer. Here's another thing, what's the answer? Oh yeah, this is the answer. And the instruction has been brilliant. That foundation that they've got in South Australia has been really good. But they're getting closer and closer to the barrier. And you know, some of the kids are getting pushed right up against the barrier, but they're not breaking through into that problem solving. They're not breaking through into that reasoning. They're not breaking through into that inference and that comprehension part of it. And you can see that in the questions. So, you know, on this left-hand side of the barrier, if you like, there are some questions about, you know, some of these questions about the temperature at the base of the mountain is 8 degrees, at the summit it's 26 degrees colder. You know, it's just an operational thing, there's a know-how thing there. I'm going to do a subtraction. There's a little conceptual bump because I'm going to go into negative numbers. Questions like, oh, there's that reflex angle question. You know, which of these shows a reflex angle? You can teach that, you can instruct that. This is the kids that's pushing the kids close. These are the things that are pushing the kids closer and closer to that barrier. They're getting better and better. And even this one, this is interesting in a South Australian context, because one of the things that we saw in South Australia was that there was a large cohort of students who didn't understand what this meant. And they thought it meant means or makes. And so they would read this as, this number plus this number makes this. They weren't thinking that this meant that whatever's on this side is equal to whatever's on that side. They were reading it across and going makes. And so some of the kids were writing the answer to that sum in there, and then going, I don't know what that's for, equals, and then another, because they were reading this makes this, and then this makes this. And what's interesting about that is, that's instructable. You know, when you do your assessment, and you see that that's the case, you can tell the kids what equals means. And you can help them to practice it and get to grips with it and to get conceptual understanding of the equal sign. And that's what happened, and we improved. And things like, you know, spelling and, you know, and other things. That's about that. It's about knowing stuff and then being able to use your operations and pop it into practice. But then on the other side of the barrier, the sorts of things that we see are these problem-solving questions. This is a brilliant question. The reason why this is a brilliant question, it's a Year 7 maths question. And so Sue draws a polygon, it's got a certain number of 120 degree angles, the same number of 150 degree angles, and no other angles. What kind of polygon is it? Show this to adults, and often they'll say, well, if I was in Year 7 I could do that, couldn't I? The idea being that somebody would have told them about the angles inside all kinds of polygons, that they'd be able to kind of tell us back. And of course, that's not what the kids in Year 7 are required to know. What this question is asking them to do is to work it out. So as an adult, we should be able to work it out. But this is demanding a lot cognitively. Actually, in terms of your knowledge, it's not demanding that much. But in terms of the problem solving, the cognition, and the disposition, I have no idea what the answer is. But I'll try this, and I'll try that, and I'll give it a go, and I'll fail. And I'll give it another go, and I'll try this, and I'll try that. What we're seeing is that these questions require more than what we can tell the kids. They require what we can tell the kids and something else, something beyond it. That ability to put it into action, that ability to think of yourself as an effective learner and have a go at it.